Guys, welcome back to Rocket Guiana, my fellow space tubers. Okay, here we are again looking at the Arianespace launch, which was scheduled to be launched yesterday. It was basically scheduled to be launched in March, but due to some technical failures again and again, and weather not supporting or something like that, has caused to slip to today. And now we are again here witnessing the launch with me. So yeah, so if you don't know what Arianespace is a rocket company which was, you can say, the first rocket company, private commercial rocket company which was established. And this company is based in Europe and is basically like ULA, which handles most of the launches from ESA, France, and basically European countries. So today the launch is for the Soyuz rocket, and this will be launched from their launch site of French Guiana Center, which is in Kourou, South America. Okay, that's the thing. And if we talk about the this launch vehicle itself, so this is the launch vehicle we have. Basically the Soyuz, the medium launch vehicle. So if you don't know, the lift capability of this Soyuz vehicle is around 3.2 tons to geotransfer orbit and 4.4 tons to sun synchronous orbit. So today we are going to sun synchronous orbit. The Soyuz is going to a sun synchronous orbit with the Falcon Eye 2 satellite, and that satellite is basically, you can say, a reconnaissance satellite or a spy satellite for United Arab Emirates Armed Forces. So you know, UAE has been into space very recently, and their most achievable and most recent and most remarkable mission is their Hope Mars mission, and which is on the way to the Mars, and hopefully it arrives at Mars and they are able to capture it properly. Then they will also be successful in getting to the Mars. Okay, so that's what it's relatively new, but that doesn't stop it to do some really cool things. But the today the satellite which has been developed is for UAE armed forces, but has not been developed fully by UAE. Most of the development work is done by France, and yeah, the contract has been signed by them. So the Falcon Eye 1 satellite was also scheduled to be launched on a Vega rocket, basically, of Arianespace. So you know, Vega rocket does not have any that a great history of launches, and that's why that all launch also, the Falcon Eye 1 launch also was resulted into a failure, and that's why they asked them to shift their launch from Vega rocket to their Soyuz rocket, which is basically very reliable rocket for them. Okay, obviously this rocket is the most reliable one till date because it's the most um, old one, and it has most of the launches, most number of launches, and very less number of failures. So yeah, that's why they have, you can say, more faith in this rocket. Okay, so we can have a look at what it is, what special is about this rocket. So these are the boosters. These are four in total number, and these boosters are not solid rocket booster but liquid fuel engines, liquid fuel boosters, and they run on RD-107A engines, which are powered by liquid oxygen and liquid kerosene. So each stage of this Soyuz rocket, except the Fregat stage, are run by this kerosene and liquid oxygen only. Okay, so and if we have the view from the first stage, I mean the first stage will have the view of the engines, then I'll tell you one more interesting thing. Okay, so that was the boosters, which are four in number and which separate around 1 minute 53 seconds into the flight, forming a beautiful and very pretty Coriolis cross. Then there is the central core, which is the first. So as you can now see that we have, for one engine we have four combustion chambers. Yes, we have four combustion chambers for just one engine, and these four uh, small engines which you can see right now here are those pre-burners which are basically used as these run on gas generator power cycle, and that's why this pre-burner exhaust is there. And so that's the difference, or you can say expertise of Russian scientists, that they don't waste anything. So this pre-burner exhaust which you can see is used to, is not discarded like that only, but is used to basically have the roll control for this uh, rocket. So these four pre-burners exhaust are basically used to roll control. So yeah, that's a cool thing basically. And these the second stage is runs on the RD-108A engines, and ISP is 286 seconds, and yeah, runs on liquid oxygen and kerosene as its fuel. Then we have the third stage, which is also basically a vacuum, more of a vacuum stage. It runs on RD-001 RD-0110 engine, as today we have Soyuz STA launcher only. And yeah, the avionics are also there in the third stage. Avionics nothing but the flight computers and yeah, flight computers basically, and flight supporting equipments are housed there. Okay, this is, then we have the Frigate upper stage. So today we will be having this Frigate upper stage. This is an optional stage which Soyuz sometimes has and sometimes does not. So what is the use of this Frigate upper stage, you ask me? Well, this is useful as it enhances the launcher's capability to provide access to a full range of orbits: medium Earth orbit, sun-synchronous orbit, geostationary transfer orbit, and Earth escape trajectories. So you ask me how does that happen? That happens because it provides, you can say, a in-space propulsion module. This Fragment stage is used in mostly in vacuum, not mostly, it is always used in vacuum only. And that's why this thing basically, you can say, provide a propulsion module for transferring the satellites into the uh, desired orbit. Like for today's mission, we have the Falcon Eye 2 satellite, right? And it is going to the sun synchronous orbit. For this, the sun synchronous orbit capability is 4.4 tons, but the satellite um, only weighs around 1.9 tons. So adding a Frigate upper stage and adding Frigate upper stage as a payload to the Soyuz basically enhances the capability of the vehicle dramatically, because that since it is 1.9 tons only and the capability is 4.4 tons, so it has some residue, you can say residual mass, which it can accommodate, and that accommodation is done by Frigate upper stage, which provides propulsion module and hence increases the orbit capability. Yeah, that's the thing. And watch. Hi Louis Carr Smith, how are you? Hi Angel and Gabo. Hi Tony Brooks, watching from the UK. Hello to UK. Emily Burst, are the Russians okay with ESA launching a UAE military satellites on the Soyuz? Well, if you ask me this question, that's the contract which they had. The Arianespace is responsible for launching and developing basically this Soyuz rocket. And why they have agreed to this contract? Because the Russia, you can say, also need another launch site which France provide, because the launcher is located in South America, and the location is such that the polar launches to the basically the polar orbit launches are more feasible from that location. So you can say that's a win-win situation for both the organization. Arianespace also has got a medium lift launcher, as well as the Soyuz also has enhanced its capability to launch in different orbits. So yeah, it's a win-win situation for both of them. So now we can have a look at the mission profile. Okay, So today the launch site is spaceport at French Guiana Space Center. The customer is UAE. Armed Forces payload is Falcon Eye. And what is the Falcon Eye? Falcon Eye is nothing but a satellite which is equipped with an Earth observation payload. This is an Earth observation payload with very high resolution optical capabilities, and yeah, completed by a ground system for monitoring. So it will be for used by the UAE armed forces. So that's pretty much about it. But one thing which I would like you to see is this one. Yeah, here we go, the countdown and the flight sequence. So after liftoff we have this countdown, right? So after liftoff, as you can see, these are the normal one, the jettisoning of the booster, the 1 minute 58 seconds. Then the jettisoning of fairing will happen, the separation of the central core, the separation of the third stage is there at after 4 minutes. The separation of the third stage at 8 minutes 48 seconds is scheduled. But what about the ignition of the basically third stage? But okay, no problem, it has not mentioned that. Then we have the first frigate burn, the second frigate burn, and then the separation of the Falcon Eye, and then again the third frigate burn. So you can see this frigate is reignited so many times in the orbit, and because of this, this frigate uses UDMH and N2O4 as its fuel, not this Carolox, basically the kerosene and oxygen, because it does not require any igniter. This is an hypergolic fuel. It is an earth storable propellant, does not require special conditions or cryogenic conditions to be stored, and that's why you can say becomes a valid and a good option to be used in space when they have to reignite the engine for so many times. The first one will, you can say, put it into basically raise the apoapsis. The second one will circularize the orbit as well as raise the apoapsis to a sun synchronous height or whatever height they want, and the height they want is around 660 kilometers if I'm not wrong. See, is it is it 600? See, yeah, 611 kilometer. Okay, so that's the thing. And then finally, after the second frigate burn is cut off, we have the separation of the satellite. But then again, we have the third frigate burn, which will happen at the apoapsis. Okay, so what this third frigate burn will do? This will lower the periapsis to enter into the Earth's atmosphere. So since the periapsis of the orbit has entered into the Earth's atmosphere, therefore this frigate upper stage will also enter the Earth's atmosphere and hence burn up in the atmosphere, leaving no debris in space. So yeah, that's the thing. And now if we have the launch coverage, then we can shift over to that. Okay, we do have okay. So guys, if you have any more questions, you can ask me and I'll try to answer as many as I can. And share this video with your friends also, and yeah, give this stream a like if you like my channel, and if you want to support me, you can always super chat me or support me on Patreon. These all options are there, so yeah, it will be really appreciated.
Greetings to all of our friends around the world, and welcome to launch of Arianespace's 24th flight of Soyuz Take 2. We're coming to you live from our Paris studio, and we're very glad that you could be with us for the single launch Falcon Eye, an Earth observation mission. The weather spoiled our plans for launch yesterday, but we're back for another try. And we have two guests with us who are going to be telling us all about what happened, what has been happening since we left you prematurely yesterday. We want to go to Kourou, where Stefan Israel, Arianespace's chief executive, is standing by. Stefan, I can see you. Welcome to you. How are things going in Kourou tonight?
Things are going very well in Kourou tonight. We are in the Jupiter control room. We have decided to go for the final operations 5 hours before liftoff, and we are going now to make the final operations. We will monitor very closely the weather because yesterday we had to stop due to lightning, so we will see what is the situation in a few minutes. We are monitoring that with our partner CNES, but everything is fine up to now.
And everyone, I imagine, very concentrated and very focused on the mission coming up.
Yes, definitely. We are in a configuration which is not the usual configuration because due to the pandemic, we have less people here in Jupiter with us. But we have our customers and partners. We have the UAE Air Force. We have Airbus Defence and Space and Thales Alenia Space. We have our partners from CNES. So things are going properly, and we are all very focused on the preparation of the tonight mission.
Okay, we are now into final operations. When is liftoff time exactly?
So, if we can lift off tonight, we will lift off at 10:33. Mission duration will be 58 minutes, and then we will have the separation of Falcon Eye.
Okay, Stefan, many thanks. We'll let you go to work. Stefan's going to take his place with his team, and he'll be back with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
At the end of the broadcast. Thank you, Stefan. I'm going to take my place here with our two distinguished guests from Arianespace, our two experts, Romy Chevrier, Mission Analysis, Raphaël Chevrier, Business Development. Right? Good evening to you both. So to you first, what's been going on since yesterday?
Since yesterday, the launcher and the payload have been put into safety configuration inside the mobile gantry, and the ventilation has been reconnected.
Anything else? There's launchers in...
No, normal procedures.
And the satellite?
Okay.
Same?
The satellite is okay.
Okay. We don't have a launch window.
No.
That, how does that affect us?
Well, I mean, it means that we have to launch at a certain time, an instant time. So we will target the same time as we did yesterday.
When you mean instant time, what do you mean exactly?
It means that we don't have like a launch window. We have to launch at 33 minutes, and that's it.
Is that because of the orbit, the sun-synchronous orbit?
Yeah, exactly. We want to make sure that the satellite is at the right orbit, and the satellite will cover the area it wants to study and to cover and to observe at a certain time a day. And this time is not going to change through the year.
Didier's making an announcement. We're just waiting to hear what he's saying. We're continuing the countdown for this 8th launch of the year, the 3rd Soyuz of the year, but the first Soyuz to go up from Kourou. Right?
Kourou, yes.
Yeah. See, back in Kourou, you can see the teams are in place again. That's the Didier's voice. He's calling out the 10-minute mark in just a minute, the beginning of the automatic sequence or the synchronized sequence. So this is the DDO who calls out all the milestones before and during the mission,
So
and we're in the
we
final
are
moments of the final countdown.
E-minus 10 minutes from the launch, and the thing which you are seeing in the mission control center is a very unique thing, because there the glass which is there which separates the mission control and the public who has come to watch the mission is soundproof. Okay, so no sound comes out of that and goes into that, so that the mission control people can be concentrated as they want.
Synchronous.
It's a interesting fact.
Synchronous orbit.
Exactly.
Okay. The Soyuz mission will deliver our single passenger Falcon Eye for into this sun synchronous orbit, and the mission has several milestones that you will see once we get underway. This is called the mission presentation, and we want to go over to Romy. I think this is your department. What are the milestones that we can look out for?
Oh, in a few words, I'm going to present you the missions. The liftoff will be the beginning of the atmospheric flight. These flights will end with the separation of the 4 lateral blocks around the block A course stages. A few later on, the fairing jettisoning will happen. After that, the extinction and the separation of the block A will happen, whereas the block I will be ignited. This stage will keep on accomplishing the mission until its extension to conclude the Soyuz ascent phase. After that, the Fregat will manage the missions with a first long burn. Then, we will have a long coasting phase with a loss of telemetry until the acquisitions of the next ground tracking stations, New Norcia, in Australia. Then, a second short burn will happen to circularize the orbit and to reach the separation orbit. After that, the spacecraft separation will happen, but the mission will not be finished yet. Indeed, we will have another coasting phase. During it, all the data recorded by the onboard mass memory will be downloaded. The mass memory will be purged and a new record will begin. After that, a third short burn will happen to deorbit the Fregat. At least downloading will be happened, and then the Fregat will re-enter into the atmosphere like a comet. And it will be the end of the missions.
All right, thank you for that, Romy. We'll be sure and watch out for all those highlights. Sun synchronous orbit, the Earth is in constant, the satellite is in constant movement in relation to the Earth? Because it's different than geostationary orbit, right? Where the satellite is not moving.
Yeah, the satellite orbits the Earth in about 1.5 hours. It makes around the Earth. Yeah.
Basically,
we're going to go back
in
to
sun synchronous orbit, what happens is we have sun there on the satellite always at all times. We don't have any times which we have night for the spacecraft. So this is a very important orbit for those which totally rely on solar power for their missions. So that's why most of the CubeSats or small satellites prefer a sun synchronous orbit which is sync with the sun, so that it provides energy at all times. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it means that well, for sun synchronous orbit, the satellites fly over like a certain area each day, and the illumination conditions are the same. Yeah. It means that it will receive the same condition of the sunlight, and so it's very convenient for comparing images, one images to another.
So that's important if you're the end user, because
it depends what you want to observe, but it's usually pretty nice and convenient to observe a certain area in the same condition every day.
Exactly. That means Google Maps also has the satellite images when they don't want these lighting conditions to change every day. So that means the valid option for them will be the sun synchronous orbit.
Into its final orbit, while in geostationary transfer orbit,
sometimes
it's like in between, like the launcher separates the satellite on its way to its final orbit, and then the satellite will have to make the final boost.
Okay. Didier making an announcement there. Countdown proceeding on schedule. The teams in Kourou going over all the final checks now, just under 5 minutes. Soyuz is Arianespace's middle-sized launcher, smaller than the heavy-duty Ariane, but larger than the light launcher Vega. And she had a launch campaign like before every mission, and I think we're going to go over to Remy to tell us about the launch campaign.
Okay. Well, the satellite arrives by plane and is transferred to the preparation building. There, many operations are done, like the integration on the adapter or the fueling, as an example. In parallel, the different stages of the launcher arrive by boat.
Wow.
The Soyuz assembly is done in the integration building called MIC. One can notice that the integration is achieved horizontally, like in Russia. The Fregat is stored there until its filling in closed building called F-cube. After that, the Fregat moves to the preparation building to be integrated to the satellite. Together, they are encapsulated inside the fairing. This assembly is the upper composite.
See, the Frigate stage is also enclosed in the fairing only. You see that?
3 days before the launch, the Soyuz is transferred to the launch pad and put inside the mobile gantry. This operation, in particular the tilting from horizontal to vertical, is very impressive. Then, the upper composite is transferred to the launch pad and erected to the top of the Soyuz. This operation is complex and requires many accuracy. Now the launcher is complete and ready for the launch.
All right, so that gives you a chance to see how
Wow.
Soyuz is readied
So
for
are we
mission.
getting
Before
some
we go any
images
farther, we want to take
of the rocket?
a look at what you guys do. Mission analysis, what exactly is that?
Okay.
Okay.
Concerning the mission analysis, there is two times. First,
Yeah, we are
before
getting
that.
some views there, guys. It is right behind this guy, and we can see that it is standing on the launch pad, looking healthy. And we are now T-2 minutes from the launch. I mean, there is one thing which we can see is red. Something has gone red
and I was inside
again. Let's see what they now.
Okay. So you're the very technical operator. Your side is a little different. Yours is business development, applications.
Yeah.
I think we're going back to Kourou. You can see on the screen there's a red there. And countdown has probably been halted. We're probably going to be hearing from somebody at the CSG. So we're standing by for those announcements. You see in the bottom of on the middle of your screen, there is a red there on the green status panels, and we're waiting word from the CSG on the state of things. So hold on, you can see the red there on the green status panels. Those are the boards that are in the on the wall in back of where the technicians, where Stefan Israel and his crews are, in the Jupiter Mission Control Room there, which is the heart of the space base. And these green status panels announce the status of all the services provided by the base, and they're green when there's no problem, and when there is a problem of some
And let's
sort,
see
we don't know
what
what it is yet.
I mean, they had the instantaneous window, and I don't think so. Again, the launch will be happening today, but we want an explanation of what
Where we are for a moment.
caused this red problem. So yeah, waiting for that.
Probably from Stefan Israel, as my earphone falls. Stefan Israel making his way to the podium. We're going to be hearing from him, Chief Executive Arianespace, for a word on the situation.
Okay.
All right, if you just joined us, we had a red in the countdown. We were at about 5 minutes, minus 5 minutes before launch, and we saw some red bars on the green status panels. I think Stefan Israel is ready to make a statement. Stefan, you have the floor.
Yes, Josh. So yes, let me explain to you. So the launcher and the satellite were absolutely perfect. Weather was green, but unfortunately we have had a non-nominal reception of the telemetry data up to the safety means. So a non-nominal reception of the telemetry data up to the safety means. And it's not possible to lift off in these conditions. Again, the launcher and the satellite are perfect. They are now going to be put on safe mode, and we will make a new tentative tomorrow evening exactly at the same time.
Okay, Stefan. You heard Stefan Israel, Chief Executive of Arianespace, a non-nominal in the... anything else that you wanted to say, Stefan?
What the hell is that? Yeah.
Just again, a non-nominal reception of telemetry data, which must be given to the safety team, the team in charge of the safety, and due to this non-nominal reception of the information, because safety is something absolutely we must respect, and everybody understands that, it was not possible to lift off tonight. we will make a new tentative tomorrow. The launcher and the satellite will be put in safe mode, and we will come back tomorrow for a new tentative.
Okay, very clear, Stefan. Thank you so much for that. You heard Stefan Israel, Arianespace Chief Executive, a non-nominal reception of telemetry for the safety team and making it impossible to lift off. So the launcher and the satellites are going to put into safety mode. We will try another launch attempt tomorrow. In the meantime, check Arianespace website and the Twitter feed. And we will see you tomorrow. We'll say goodnight from Paris and from Kourou. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place.
Okay. Finally, we got at least some views of this rocket, this beautiful rocket. And now it has been put into the safe mode, which means they will be defueling this rocket, first of all. And just a sec. Yes. Then they will be defueling this rocket, and then afterwards they will try to basically have those procedures, the safety procedure which needs to be done to safeguard this rocket. And the reason which they told that they had a problem with the non-nominal, they had something called the non-nominal telemetry reception. Well, I heard this thing the first time. Seriously, the first time I have heard this thing of this problem basically. And I really don't know much about this thing, but the words itself say that is there a problem with the range or something, like the ground stations not working properly or something like that. But yeah, don't know. Yes, Brian, so the next launch opportunity which they have is the tomorrow, and tomorrow they will be again attempting to launch this thing. And hopefully at that time they can and they will, because these scrubs are creating a real problem for Arianespace now. So yes, Brian, here is it scrubbed, and Brian, yeah, it's detanking. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. And we didn't have the launch today, but let's be hopeful for tomorrow. And let's hope that day after tomorrow, the most awaited, the Starship 15-kilometer hop, we are able to see, and in that everything goes perfectly. But Elon says that they have only one out of 3 chances of recovering the booster, basically the Starship, basically not booster, the Starship. Yeah, that's the thing. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate that. If you like this stream, give this stream a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. And till then, this is Priyanshu signing off. You just saw Rocket Gun. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.